Right guys, this is a long playing review for Road Fighter, an arcade coin-op from Konami, released in December of 1984. Now normally I do Amstraddler games on this channel, but I thought I'd do something a little bit different today in an arcade game, which is one of my favourites of all time and is relatively unheard of. Also, if you're new to this channel, I do review commentaries of my long plays, but in this instance I'll provide a link in the description below for an unlisted video of just the long play without me talking if you prefer to watch that instead. Okay, anyway, let's kick things off here with Road Fighter, and of course we're playing this in the MAME emulator, and it's one of those coin-ops that has a vertically orientated screen, which means that we're going to have a lot of black space either side of the footage here. So I've added to the left there the arcade cabinet in all its glory, and to the right is the flyer art. So hopefully it will make it look a little bit nicer for you guys to watch. So here we are on the track sequence, and as you can see guys, it's a 2D top-down driving and racing game. Very, very simple stuff, but there's beauty in simplicity, and that's why I like this game. It's just pure, simple driving fun, and I find this incredibly addictive. So there are basically 6 stages in the race, and basically you just got to get to the end of the race and hopefully be in first position. And on this long play, we're going to try and do this without crashing once. What I mean by crashing is like the car exploding, so like basically going off the road or driving into the back of a lorry, etc. And yes, so there's also about 30 plus cars to overtake. Oof! Oof, that was lucky. Very, very lucky there. I could have ended this run straight away within seconds of starting. That's one of my opponents I'm overtaking. So you do have opponents on the track, and I'm now ranked 35th. There's another one. I've just actually knocked him off the road there. And we get planes appearing and other interesting creatures at the side of the road. And I'll mention more of them in a little bit. So there we go. Got to the checkpoint there. Got rank 33, but most importantly is my lap time now of 1:29.23, which puts me in first place for the fastest lap out of all the other cars on the track. And you basically want to be hitting that first place every time at the end of a checkpoint, because by the end of the race you want to be ahead of the first place car or be able to catch him up on the final checkpoint stage. Strange creature there at the side of the road. So yeah, we get these like little, I'm not sure I'd call them Easter eggs, but if you don't crash on a stage, you'll start seeing things like that appearing. A plane here, for example, and it's all designed to try and put you off a little bit. But if you manage to survive... Oh, here's Konami Man, as he's been known as. Oh, there's 4 cars there, which is overtaken. Mass carnage there. So there was Konami Man, that's a fuel pickup car. And there's a train. And these planes and trains and Konami men, they will keep appearing as long as you don't crash. And if you survive them getting to the top of the screen, then you get some bonus score. There's a fuel car there in multicolours. And fuel is your enemy in this game. Run out of fuel and it's game over. So if you crash about twice on a checkpoint stage, then you're going to need to find one of those fuel cars and pick it up really, really quickly, because you will guarantee to be run out of fuel before you reach the end. Now here we are on stage 3. Now things start really getting tough here. We've pretty much got a fairly straight road for the most of it on this bridge, I believe it is, or by the docks. However, now we get these red cars and these slightly different coloured yellow cars that will swerve all across the road, designed to basically make you crash. And so what you need to do is like go up behind them if there's not much room to manoeuvre wide around them, and release the accelerator, just dip it and just sort of force them to like do their swerve and then overtake them at full speed after. So here I'm releasing the accelerator a lot. And one thing I haven't mentioned here is the controls. As you can see from the arcade cabinet on the left, it's actually a joystick control with 2 fire buttons. One fire button is for like low speed, and the second fire button is for high speed, basically. So you need to hold down the first fire button, low speed, to get your speed up. And whilst holding it, press the second fire button and it will take your speed up to 400 km/h maximum. But what you can do here is my tip for survival and beating the game is always be holding down the low speed button. And when you're on top speed, when you come up to a tricky car that you need to overtake, or you think you might end up just touching or crashing into, if you release the high speed button just before it and hit it whilst on low speed, you won't do a massive tailspin out of the track. You'll do like just a little nudge like that. It'll just push you to the side for maybe half a second to a second, and then you can get back on the high speed button and accelerate away. But if you do hit it whilst top speed and with the second fire button held down, you will go into a spin, an uncontrollable spin pretty much, and you're just going to have to pray and hope that you hit another car which sort of nudges you back in the other direction. That was lucky, but I wasn't going full speed there. I'd released the second fire button and I'd survived that. And yes, you just have to hope if you're getting a horrible spin that you hit another car that will bounce you back in the other direction, or an oil slick. There we go, good time here. Now apparently this was Konami's first racing game, according to the ever-reliable source of Wikipedia, and a sequel was belatedly released to this in 1995 called Midnight Run Road Fighter 2. Although it wasn't particularly amazing and had little in common with this game, but it did get a PlayStation release also. That too also got a sequel in a game called Winding Heat in the arcades in 1996. And then there was one final game in the line of Road Fighter games simply called Road Fighter in 2010, released only in Japan, and it had a mounted pair of goggles for an enhanced 3D effect. And looks quite an interesting cabinet. I've not seen many like that. This game also appeared on the NES and MSX. The NES is the better version and more accurate, although you are not racing against opponents in either version, and there's no lap times and stuff. You're just trying to, it's just a checkpoint race to try to get to the end before your fuel runs out. And there's only a few stages in both. I think the MSX version has slightly more than 6, the NES has 4, and they all loop around. But the NES one is more faithful to the arcade, it's probably the version to get. But both are missing things or have changed things from the arcade, but they're kind of like minor niggles. If you were a fan of this game in the arcade, you would like the NES and MSX versions, you'd be pretty happy. So here we are on the final stage, guys. Very, very tough, because now this chucks in lots of oil slicks. Lots of those aggressive cars on the road, and there's a new car, a blue car, which pretty much behaves the same as the others. But now we've got to get to first place, and we've got to go full pelt here. Rank 4 now. There's the third place car. Oh, that was lucky. So was that. I got in a tailspin from an oil slick, then hit another one that corrected my path. So I just keep dodging left and right, because I'm not sure where the next oil slick is going to come, and it will come down the screen really fast. And I'm in first position. I'm just going to take it easy now and get to the end, and I should be okay. And there we go. We hit the goal. Now on the third stage there, I didn't get the first place lap time. I was in third place. And normally I would have restarted the run, but I felt lucky, and I managed to do it. So this isn't my best time ever I've done on this game, but we do get greeted by Burt Reynolds or Tom Selleck there, giving us a thumbs up and a great in a red baseball cap saying champ. Fantastic. So that's the ending for the game, but now it just basically loops through again. So I'm just going to crash off a few times and do the high score table to show you that, and that will do for this. I'm I've not been able to find out much other details about the game, like who were the coders and the graphics artist. I did find out who apparently the music composer was, which was a guy called Yoshinori Sasaki. And his probably most notable game he worked on was, he was the coder of Lethal Enforcers, a very, very popular light gun game in the early 90s. So I'll just show you the crashes here. Nice crash noise and animation there. But guys, it's very, very simple graphics, but remember this is 1984, so I really like the graphics, I really love the sound effects in this game, I really love the jingles and music, but most of all, I just love the pure simplicity of the driving. It's just really, really good fun. Made it really, really basic, but sometimes, as I said earlier, there's beauty in simplicity. And this is one of my favourite arcade games because I find it really addictive and I keep coming back to it every now and again, every few months, and giving it a blast. So here I am. So if I had to give this a review score, which is kind of awkward for arcade games, I'd give this an 8 out of 10. It's hard to do, but you have to think of it in context. This is 1984 and this is a really, really fun game. So there we go. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I might do some more arcade long play and reviews in the future. So there we go. Thank you very much and goodbye.
So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please click a like below, leave a comment, and also subscribe if you haven't already. And over that way, there's another video for you to check out. Zypho, out.